You retire, support anybody you want, and provide information. But it generated quite a bit of angst among both the serving officer corps. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs at the time said that it was inappropriate for that level, both on the Republican and the Democratic side. John Allen did the same thing for the Democrats and reminded serving officers that their loyalty was to the Constitution and whoever the president was. So, yeah, it generated some significant challenges to the officer corps. And what retired generals do is of debate. Yeah. Mike tended to go a little bit to the extreme in his support of Donald Trump. I wouldn't have done that, but he did.
So you're a straight shooter, General, but what do you mean you won't judge that? What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, everybody's got to be judged by their own style. You know, he decided to link up with a candidate and provide unbelievably strong support. That was up to him to do. Some will debate, I would be one of them, that it kind of goes against the professional ethics to do that. But Mike did it. So, you know, that's what he wanted to do.
Jim Sciutto, back to you.
Yes, John.
Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the issue for him, as whether he'll be effective or not, is whether he's going to be a team player, or whether his combative nature will bring on a lot of conflicts with others. I think it's the best national security advisors have been ones who've been very collaborative, very respectful of the cabinet officers, ask hard questions, but they are these honest brokers. Now, I don't know how that style will fit. You know, Rudy Giuliani, for example, if he were Secretary of State, he has a strong personality. Right. He has an explosive personality. You know, I could see those two styles coming in conflict. They could also work very closely together. General Flynn also does have the Donald Trump. That's important. And what we're seeing is a pattern of Trump, again, turning to a loyalist.
Yeah. Jim Sciutto, you want to say?
Yeah, just a couple things. One, in terms of talking about his record. So, yes, he was forced out as head of the DIA. But keep in mind, going back further, he was General Stanley McChrystal's right-hand man, his intel officer during the heat of the battle against al-Qaeda and the Taliban in Afghanistan. So he has a decorated military past, widely known, even from those who criticize his leadership at the DIA, as a brilliant tactician, intelligence tactician. So he has a decorated background as well. I will say, though, that beyond his management style, the concern you hear also about positions, particularly, for instance, on a country like Russia. He, like Donald Trump, has expressed views that some see as too friendly, possibly, to Russia. And again, there's some disagreement over this, but we're just seeing a statement now, for instance, from Adam Schiff. He's the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, and he makes this point, saying that you need to be, in his view, skeptical of Russia's intentions now, and he's concerned that Michael Flynn is too forgiving of Vladimir Putin's leadership style and Russia's aggression in Eastern Europe, Syria, and elsewhere.
Let's talk more, Sarah Murray, about more news about the transition team here, because there's news tonight about Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama as well. What can you tell us?
Well, that's right. We are learning that Senator Jeff Sessions is, as of this moment, the leading candidate to be Attorney General. Now, being the leading candidate could mean that could still change. We know that Donald Trump is meeting with a lot of different people, but at this point, that is sort of where we were expecting the chips to fall for Senator Sessions. He's another one of these folks who's been very loyal since Donald Trump got in the race. He was an early supporter, and it was, you know, multiple sources have told us that the job that Senator Sessions wanted was AG, and that Donald Trump wanted to reward him and his loyalty by giving him what he wanted. Now, this is a little bit of a tougher hill to climb, because this is the kind of a posting that does require Senate confirmation. Now, that may be no problem, but that's one of the things that the Trump team is going to be looking at. But just to Jim's point, I mean, one other thing that we've sort of learned today about how Donald Trump's transition is shaping up is the fact that he's going to have this meeting over the weekend with Mitt Romney, someone who has been very critical of him. And one of the things that we're expecting them to discuss is the potential Secretary of State job. Now, that doesn't mean that Mitt Romney is a finalist or a contender even, or that he's going to be Donald Trump's top pick. It just means they're going to meet, and this is one of the things we expect them to discuss. But Mitt Romney's view of Russia is so far from where Donald Trump is, and so far from where General Flynn is. Remember, when he was running for president, he called Russia America's major geopolitical foe. So this sort of gives you a sense of how all of these interesting players are converging on Donald Trump's transition, and how he really does want to have these different conversations, want want to have these different meetings before he puts all of his chips on the table about who he actually wants in his cabinet.
Sarah Murray, Jim Sciutto, General Hertling, thank you so much. David Gergen, please stay with me. Straight ahead, much more of our breaking news. President-elect Trump offers a role of National Security Advisor to Lieutenant General Michael Flynn.
We always were told we were German. We were in a German dance group. I wore lederhosen, so I just started poking around on Ancestry. Then I decided to have my DNA tested through Ancestry DNA. It turns out I'm Scottish. So I traded in my lederhosen for a kilt.
I didn't realize how bad my smile was with fillings and root canals. I had to do something. I looked at partial bridges. I looked at dentures. Out of all the options, Clear Choice was the only choice for me.
At Clear Choice, we bring hope to millions who suffer from missing or failing teeth with dental implants that look, feel, and function like strong, natural teeth.
All the specialists with all the technology they need are in one spot. That makes delivering this 21st century